excited to be at home in front of our crowd. It's always a great advantage for us. I think we'll have very good turnouts, and Home Run Village is going to be open again, from what I understand. Tough regional, though. I mean, Texas A&M comes from the SEC, which is right now, without question, the best softball conference in the country. So they're used to playing tough games a lot. So we need to be definitely ready for them. They swing it well. They're a good team. They've won some big games in the SEC as well. And Minnesota came on strong. They had a good series against Northwestern, who was a ranked, I think, 9 or so. So both teams are very, very seasoned. And we're going to have to play very well. We're going to have to pitch very well. We're going to have all parts of our game working. Prairie View got on a big run of wins and got their way into the tournament. I still don't know too much about them, but they're a drivable team, and we're ready for whatever comes our way.
Start with Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Patty, wanted to ask you about Mackenzie Hansen. I guess, first of all, is there something to the thought that, do you feel like there's something to the thought that they're just players who thrive in the postseason or big moments? Obviously she got hot last year and is seemed to be heating up here late in the year. And just what do you think's been behind that turnaround lately for her?
Yeah, well, one of the biggest turnaround postseason players is Shea Knighton of all time. And Mackenzie Hansen last conference season was not at her very best. And she was very aggravated by that. And so when we talk about the Big 12 tournament being like a new beginning, it just kind of changed her whole approach last year. She had an incredible tournament, which led her into postseason. I think she looked at the Big 12 tournament in that way. Like, okay, I did this last year. Let me see what it feels like. And I think you can feel her at practice, gaining her confidence. Her swing looks, she's not swinging as hard or as pressed or trying to get that big swing and chasing pitches all over the place. She's a little more controlled now, and I think she's going to be definitely a force going into this weekend.
And just real quick follow up to that with what she's done with what Lindsay's done. How difficult or how good of a problem is that to have? I imagine it's a little bit of both to try to fit those pieces together into the lineup every day.
It is. It's hard. It's all about matchups, and sometimes we're wrong with it, but there's interchangeable pieces, and that's involving Elam, Hansen. Sometimes Allo will go out in the outfield if we're trying to have having Allo, Elam, and Hansen in means we have to be creative at times. Neener is very good at first. Neener's kind of an interchangeable. Boone is an interchangeable as well. So a group of about 5 players, we have to figure out how they're going to play in to what we're doing. And some of them split the game. Some of them come in more as like a defensive specialist late in the game. So just kind of depends on what our pitchers, righties or lefties. Sometimes the lefties are tough on our left-handed hitters. So it just really depends on those types of numbers and what we feel from it.
I really appreciate it, Patty. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
I will go John Chen.
Yeah, Patty, you've of course been in this position many times, but how you manage a team to try to be peaking at this time of year, and how long did it take you to kind of learn how to do that?
I still don't know that I know how to do it, really. It's just continuing to motivate, but also holding them accountable. And probably today was one of the bigger days that I have just held. It was hot and we were practicing for a while, but I was relentless with them. And I think that's just showing them that I care, that I am not going to sit back and say oh, okay, that's good enough when it's not. So I just continue to drive and push them and then ultimately I'm talking to them about, I know what you want. So I know what it looks like in order to get what you want. And this isn't what it looks like. And these are things that have to change. And, I give them a rest when I got to give them a rest. But today was a day, it's going to be one of our tougher practice days. And I was on them. And I think when they feel me that way, they know what I'm trying to do and the importance of elevating their game and not letting the sun beat down on them. And, or when they don't get what they want, they maybe not hustle down the line or something like that. I just don't let that happen because it's not who we are. And if I allow that to happen, it just starts to bleed into everything else that we're doing. So I think when they feel me push them a little bit harder in postseason, they know it's time for postseason. Let's elevate.
When you have, I guess the sport in general is probably a year older than it would have been without COVID. Do you have to kind of dig in the bag of tricks if I want to, shock people that have been here for 5-6 years to just get the bill to the system?
I obviously have no idea how to shock Jocelyn Allo. It's the reverse factor. I mean, she's always shocking me by something she says or does. It's like, okay. I don't know. I mean, everybody here, they want to win. And ultimately, that's what we all have in common. And we want to enjoy winning and enjoy what we're doing. The way I know how to enjoy practice is when it's good. And so, I don't know, we keep it fresh, but we also work very hard. And that's the key to all of this. It always has been in this program.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll go Judy Carlson.
Hey, Patty, I hate to be the one who keeps asking you about Jordy, but what about Jordy? How is she? What's the status right now?
Still day to day. The goal is to get her pain free, and we're still working in that direction. So a lot of different things that we're trying for her. Doctors are involved as well. So if it's doable, it'll be done, but we're not going to do it if it's not uncomfortable enough for her to do it.
She obviously is a freshman. She hasn't maybe carried a workload like we've seen some pitchers carry over the years, but how have you thought she's managed it? I mean, she seems strong throughout from an outsider's perspective, but how have you seen her navigate through that as a freshman with the workload?
Yeah, well, the workload, I think the majority of her workload has always happened in the summer. And for her, the workload might be lighter, like the innings thrown, but the intensity is quite different. And that's where the stress comes in. So I think she's handled it like a champ. And when she gets in big situations, she thrives in it. She almost wants it sometimes. It's kind of crazy. Like the adrenaline is just something she loves. And with this injury, she's handling it very optimistically. She's frustrated that she can't help the team, but she's confident that she's going to get the opportunity to get back on the field.
She throwing any in practice at all right now?
I was so busy in practice today, I'm not sure, but if she did anything today, it was very, very, very light.
Thanks, Patty.
Yep.
We'll go Joey Homer.
Yeah, Patty, this is the third tournament, excuse me, in a row that you guys are the #1 overall seed. And I think you talked at the beginning of the season about your program and your players kind of embracing being the team to beat as opposed to having an underdog mentality of sorts. Just in what ways have you seen your team embrace that, being that team to beat? And once again, obviously, you're the team to beat going into this tournament.
Yeah, I think they've handled it really well. And it's still new to us because I think people look at the Big 12 as not a prestigious conference. So you still think, well, you're in the Big 12, people don't give you that kind of credit. So maybe we are underdogs. I don't think we look at ourselves as anything except a team that's just trying to play their best softball right now. So, I mean, we've won the national championship as a 10 seed, as a 1 seed. We've been all up and down the spectrum. So it really doesn't matter where you are, because you're going to have to go through these teams anyhow. But it's just wanting to play your best softball and be your healthiest and feeling good and fresh this time of the season. And our team is fresh. They are not, we're not marred with injuries or anything like that, except for Jordy. The team is all good to go. So I like where we're at and like the way we're practicing.
We'll go Joe Bender.
Patty, to go back to the pitching situation, you have 3 pitchers that presumably could probably start just about anywhere in the country. And now losing Jordy, it feels a little bit like last year with just kind of dealing with the injury with Giselle Juarez. What did you learn about managing that pitching rotation as far as just, trying to, I guess, get those players in a groove, keep their minds right? Are there any lessons you can take away from last season's situation?
Yeah, I mean, the whole situation last year was just crazy because we didn't even use Giselle until something just clicked. It's still amazing to even think about where she was and where she went. And it just kind of happened overnight. So we're not in that position. We've got 2 pitchers, and Macy McAdoo's been throwing well. We've got 3 pitchers that can handle the business on the mound. With a offense that can score them runs, a defense that's been the hottest as of late than they have all season. We don't have to depend on pitchers throwing shutouts. And last year it became a hitter's team. We're trying to out-hit teams. And I don't foresee us having to handle those types of things this weekend. Our pitchers can shut some teams down, and we were in a different space last year at this time.
You kind of touched on it, but I mean, do you expect to see so many new faces like a Macy McAdoo or someone getting maybe a bigger role this weekend? Yeah,
potentially. And I really like right now where Nicole May and Hope have been, and Macy's been coming back from hip injuries and she's feeling good. She's throwing well. And so we do definitely have options that we're not afraid of using at all at this time.
Thanks, Patty.
Yep.
A few more here. We'll go Clay Horning.
Yeah, Patty, sorry to do this, keep going back to pitchers. Do you have a specific plan yet? Who will throw the first game, who might throw the second? And about Nicole specifically, she came out of last year's Super Regional looking terrific, had looked like she might be your ace in the World Series, but then Giselle happened. But where is she right now, sort of in comparison to a year ago? Is she on that?
I think so. Yeah, I like what she's been doing, and she's throwing really well at practice and getting some big strikeouts. I'm putting these guys in pressure situations, and Nicole May has always done very well under pressure. She showed that last year, and she's been showing it this year. I think Hope Trotwine had a good dose of what a big crowd felt like. Now, you'd be in our stadium and feel 1,700, but at Hall of Fame, we were in front of about 7,500, which she has not felt before. It's the first time she's ever felt a crowd like that. So it was a great experience for her. I think their nerves were involved a bit, but I think that experience completely changed her. So I'm looking forward to having all of these guys on deck and ready to go. The rotation we're not ready for yet to decide, but I know that like the first day on Friday night, you try to, if possible, you want to get like all your pitchers on the mound just to get them a feel for what it feels like in this setting. And then you get it under your belt and now you're good to go the rest of the way. So that might be strategy we have going forward. I'm not quite sure yet, but that's always kind of our plan, is try to get as many players on the field Friday night as we can.
Go Eric Lopez.
Coach, obviously you got Joe Evans back here in Norman. Just talk about Coach Evans and the impact in the sport here, and the impact she's made here. Is once again, you two could be potentially battling once again here in this regional.
Yeah, I had known Joe for a long, long time, back when she was in the Big 12, but even before that, when she was coaching at Utah. I had a former player of mine when I was at Long Beach City College play for Joe at Utah. So I've known her for a long time, respect her tremendously. Anybody that can stay in the game as long as she has, and I am, like, we respect each other because we know how hard it is to stay in this game this long. But she runs a great program. She's got great assistants. They're very well coached and always very competitive. So it's going to be a battle. I know that for sure.
The fact you played Minnesota earlier, does that help at all in preparation, or was that so long ago that you don't really use much of that?
No, it helps. Definitely. We saw a lot of pitchers. We had good success. So we saw a lot of their pitchers. We kind of know their style. It was long ago, but I would tell you both teams, I'm sure, have improved quite tremendously since then. So there will be changes. We definitely get back into video and see what they've been doing as of late. But they're a very talented team, again, well coached and hit the ball hard. They play good defense. Both teams have the same thing in common, and they are very competitive. They're not afraid. They're not afraid of the Sooners. They're not afraid of anybody they go up against.
One of the narratives this year from the brackets are 4 new host sites. Clemson with John Rittman over there. Of course, Duke hosting, Virginia Tech hosting for the first time. And where I'm at in Orlando, they're hosting for the first time here as well. I don't know if you want to comment, like, the first time, what it was like for you to, the feelings when you hosted for the first time, but what does that mean for the sport to have new new schools here hosting?
It means more people are going to fall in love with softball. That's what it means. I think Virginia Tech, I've seen some of their crowds. It's crazy to see that. Clemson's got a beautiful stadium. John Rittman's done a fabulous job, as is Marissa Duke. I mean, these guys have really, ACC has been coming on strong and making a name in this tournament, and the fans are coming out, which is great. And Cindy, I know her as Ball, but I know Malone has done a great job and played a great schedule to earn this 16th spot. So it's just great for our sport. It's another reason why people are going to come out and want to see it for the first time and then get hooked. So it's great. And they all deserve it. They all deserve the opportunity to host. They've earned it.
Do you remember when you hosted? Is that, I mean, so important from a program standpoint? It's like your breakthrough moment, right? Because it's a big moment for any of those programs.
Okay, so I'll tell you, the first time we hosted was over at Reeves Park, and the dugout is so small that the entire team can't fit in the dugout, so they're sitting in the first bleacher of they're not even grandstands, of the wooden benches out there. That's the first time. So to me, I'm like more concerned not how many fans are here, but how do I fit everyone in the dugout? How do you charge? Like there's people could come in anywhere they want. So you can't charge. It's quite different. I'm in a city park hosting a regional, and so we have grown with the times, to say the least. So it's been quite a wow to just see where we started and where we are now and where we're going with this new stadium in the horizon.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.